So by a show of hands real quick, who has never taken this test before? Never even, only two. Okay, usually I got a couple people in there. You'd be surprised when I'm at universities or school districts, when I ask that question, like I go every month, I'm probably at about 5 or 6 different schools and universities, and I always ask that question at the beginning, and I'm amazed sometimes because a big percentage of the people, the teachers sitting in front of me, have never taken it. And this was last month and at the beginning of this month. So who's a classroom teacher here? You guys know that you have a very important deadline coming up, right? Yeah. So I look at them, I go, well, what are you waiting for, right? You wait until the last minute. So I applaud you guys for coming here. I thank you so much, you guys. I don't care if you drove 30 minutes or 5 hours to come here. I guarantee you're going to get so much value out of this and be so much way ahead of the game when preparing for the test. All right, so you got a packet of paper with your name on it. There's a couple of things in there. The second page under the title page is a letter on there. We're going to come back to that at the end of the break here, but the first session, it has a code on there. So everybody in here, you're getting access to my 3 general knowledge test courses online that's included in here. And that code is going to allow you to register for free. So at the end, I'm going to budget 5 minutes, and everybody's going to register before we're done. It'll literally take us not even 2 minutes to do it. So you can do it on your phone if you have a computer. I don't know if you guys are able to get on the Wi-Fi here. Yeah. You can? All right, perfect. So if you can do it on your phone as well, but I'm going to make sure everybody, it's real easy, but I want to make sure everybody's on the same page and register, because what that does is it triggers something on my end, and I follow up with all you guys individually. So I make sure you're studying, obviously. I remind you of some of the things we talk about. And just there if you have any questions. Because you need to understand that when you're here, it's great. And it's not like any other training when you leave and I'm gone. I am accessible 7 days a week, all day long. I got my phone numbers on there, a special FTCe phone. You guys can text me, call me anytime. This group, if you guys, I saw some people doing it. I have a private Facebook group. That's the link on there if you want to take a picture of it, or you just write it down. It's real easy. It's When You Pass is the name of the group. Just put what test you're prepping for, and I'll accept you just have to request access. Anyone in my group already? Okay, perfect. So it's just another avenue to post questions. I have some people actually meeting and making study groups around the state out of there, so I'm really impressed to see that happening. Because you have to understand that it sounds silly, but we're all in this together. I've taken these tests before. I'm in the same situation as you guys are. I'm a teacher myself as well. So you need to understand a couple of things. One, you're not alone, right? So who's failed this test before? Don't be shy. Almost everybody, okay? So look around you, right? And you need to understand something. You're going to laugh when I say this, but some people have this crazy thought in their head that I fail, that means I'm dumb. And you're not dumb. You're not dumb. Look around you. This is just one room of 20 people, right? 14,000 people take this test for the first time every year in the state. And I'm going to show you the numbers here in a little bit. So you need to understand, one, you're not dumb. Two, you definitely can pass the test, because I've worked with over 4,500 teachers in the last 4.5 years, helping them pass the test. And it's all about how you prepare, and that's what we're going to do here today. And the third thing is you also need to realize that this is not indicative of how good of a teacher you are or will be. Some people get very down when they fail it, especially college students. I've seen any college students here? A couple. I teach over at UCF too, so I've seen college students that just change fields. They just change their major because they failed the test one time or twice. It's all about how you prepare. Classroom teachers, right? I've seen people after one time say, "Oh, I'm just giving up. This is stupid." If you want to be a teacher, why do people want to be teachers? That's obviously a rhetorical question, because we want to help kids, right? It's not good the money. That's obviously the truth, right? Who's there for the money? You didn't know this is a workshop on how to make 6 figures as a classroom teacher? No? You guys didn't know that? Okay. That's a different one. I'm just kidding. All right. So those are a couple of things I want you to understand. So don't get down on yourself. You're not alone. You can do it. I know you can. And my job is to make sure you do. All right. So lean on me for whatever you need. All right. So we're going to jump right in here with my first question. Why, this is very simple, but I want you to think about it. Why did you choose to pay the money and come to this session? Right? And because I have to keep my job is not an acceptable answer. I want something different. Right? Why did you choose to come here? Yes?
Better study habits.
Better study habits, good. How about you guys over here? Strategies?
Because a teacher that took the workshop with you recommended.
Okay.
Or highly recommended.
Okay. Who's had somebody tell them you need to go listen to this guy? He's not that crazy. All right. My wife calls me crazy, but that's another session.
Yeah.
All right. What about anything else? What about you guys?
Work smarter, not harder.
Work smarter. Yes. Work smart. I say prep smart. Same thing. Okay. How about you guys back here? Why'd you come?
So I wouldn't feel so stupid.
So you feel you're not stupid. Don't think you're stupid. Trust me. I've had people come to me after 10 times and they passed. Right? It's all about how you're focusing.
Lower the stress level.
There's definitely going to lower the stress level here. All right, so all great answers. So first off, some of you guys already know who I am, which is great. Most of you guys don't, okay, which is okay. I forgive you. So what I like to do is I'm not reading this to you. And by the way, you're going to get all these slides here. They're going to be online in the course. I've been doing this for 4.5 years, like I said. And for years, I never had anything on my website. I never told anybody when I went to sessions that I was a teacher, that I'm a professor over at UCF, that I've taken these tests, anything. And if you guys are classroom teachers, have you ever been in a training at your district where you sat there and the administrator, whoever was doing it, you're like, why? Who is this person teaching me what to do? They don't even do it, or they're not. Who's ever experienced that? Everybody. I remember it's sitting so many, and there's been good trainings. Don't get me wrong, but most of them, it's like, why am I here? And I got that look from a guy at a school district before Thanksgiving last year, and he was looking at me, and I'm like, I know that look. And I asked him, I'm like, what's? He's like, well, who are you? Like, why are you? I know I'm coming here because it's free and my district paid for it for me, but why? What makes you someone who could help me? And I'm like, then the light bulb went off. I'm like, why am I not telling people this? So you need to understand that I am not someone just peddling books to you. I don't have books. I don't plan on writing a book. What I'm doing is this is going to be an authentic training based on all of the standards and the blueprint that the state of Florida puts on their website. Okay, so I've been through this. I've taken these. So everything I share with you, all the numbers, all the types of questions, all that stuff is straight from the DOE. Okay, so if you say that's not on the test, well then I guess the state is lying on the website, because this is straight off, the content is straight off the website. Alright, so I teach at UCF, I've been doing this, I taught 10 years in public school, 5 years middle school, 5 years high school. Alright, I am a struggling test taker myself. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I did this over time, is I want to help teachers, and especially college students, make sure they're doing things the right way the first time, because you know this test is expensive, right? We all know this, and we're not going to get in the conversation on how they charge more when you fail. That's I can't control that. I'm not the state, all right? But they do charge you more when you fail, all right? And on a side note, you guys who are here all day got your little ticket. At the end of the boot camp in the afternoon, I'm going to be drawing a name, and I've got money here to pay for your test.
Just one.
Right? Yeah, just one, unfortunately. Sorry. All right. So I got cash in my pocket unless I spend it on lunch. I won't do that. All right. So a lot of people feel like this. Anyone know who this is? Yeah. My wife used to love that show when she was little. I never watched it. What is that called? Dawson's Creek? Whoever watched Dawson's Creek? Yeah, I laughed when she used to watch the reruns of it, and she doesn't anymore. Right? A lot of people feel like Penny over here. That's my favorite show, right? Oh my God, I need help, right? You need to understand something. There's no easy way out to this test. There isn't. There is no magic test prep guide. There's no magic pill to take. There's no magic course to take. Okay? It's all about understanding the test and how to prepare the right way. So I'm not saying this. People think, oh, why this guy's making me feel nervous? He's putting people crying on the screen. He's telling me, oh my God, the test is, people fail it so many times. So I'm not saying this to make you nervous, but you have to understand something very, very, very important. That the numbers don't lie. And when I say numbers, I mean these. All right, this is a screenshot from the DOE website. It was just updated in March from last year. Now, be honest, and I asked the same question whether I'm in front of 10 students, 50 people, 100 people. Raise your hand if you knew for a fact what these numbers were. Wow, not one. I usually get 1 or 2, right? This is on the state website. This is there. They have every year. All the way back, I think, till like 2003 or something like that. Okay? There's a big drop from 2015 to now. It used to be up in the 80s. The big drop is the test has changed so dramatically. Okay, yeah, it's a little bit harder, but it's very different from all the other resources and guides out there. Everybody who's taken this January 1st, 2015 and forward is a totally different test. So if you're a classroom teacher, you might have some colleagues and friends at school that say, oh, the general knowledge test, that's easy. Has anyone ever heard that before? Some people, right? Because they took it 3 years ago or more, and it was different. Okay, we're going to go over some of the difference, especially the essay when we get to that first. So I'm not putting this up here, don't get me wrong, this is not to scare you, but it is for shock value, because these people, and you're one of those in there, if you took it last year, I'm probably not, but if you did, okay, I'm not doing that to make you upset, but these people who've taken these tests, they're not dumb. They're not going to be awful teachers, it's just that they're not studying the right way. You can't prepare for this test the same way you do for a final exam in college. You cannot. You can't cram for it. You can't memorize a test prep guide. You can't do any of that. Okay, so we're gonna go. I'm not one of those just gonna say things. I'm gonna show you and explain it. So I'm just kind of painting the picture here as we roll on. So what are we gonna get today? My major theme in all of my different FTCe sessions, and you saw it on the front when you walked in, is knowledge, skill, and attitude. And we're going to go over in detail what that is. Okay? How to study smart. Obviously, some of you guys gave me those answers already while you're here, so you're in the right place. You're going to know exactly what content is going to be on the test, all the specific things on there. Obviously, I can't teach you all that in 3.5 hours. That's impossible. But we'll go over a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to put you in the right direction. Okay? And then no, you're not getting a rabbit's foot on the test. I'm just kidding. You guys get that far to read on there? No? I didn't see anybody giggle? Okay. So what you're not going to get today. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to get exact questions from your test. Some people laugh when I say that, but some people are serious. And you don't have to raise your hand, but I know there's probably, based on the numbers and what I do every day, there's probably a percentage of you guys out there that try to find questions from the test for people who just taken it. Okay? I can't stop you, but please don't do that. Right? There's a lot of different reasons. I know it sounds like I have to keep my job. I want to see who can remember the questions. You know what happens when you do that? There's a couple of things that happen. I see it all the time. One, you find people who just took the test. I see it in some other groups or blogs or friends in schools. What do you remember from the test? And people write it down when they're done, and they share it or they give it to their friends, and this is what I've seen. Guess what happens? I've seen two things personally over and over again. One, they put questions and they put the answers and they share them and the answers are wrong. And two, which is the most popular problem, is people get in the habit of trying to memorize all these things. And guess what happens? You're not going to get those questions again. You might get a small handful of them, but there's thousands of questions in a bank. So if you've taken it more than once, I'm sure you know, you're not going to see the exact test. So I can't control what you do. I'm just giving you my opinion because I do this every day. Don't get in that game. I know it's tempting, but I've seen so many people fail over and over again. I actually had a young lady that I stopped tutoring for the professional ed because all she wanted to do is give me questions that she remembered on the test. And that's not what I do. It's all about strategies and understanding concepts. And you're going to get a great understanding of that. So please don't get in that game. All right, so a couple quick housekeeping things. Number one, a lot of information is going to be said today. You're not just going to sit there and listen today. I'm going to be asking questions. I want you guys to raise your hand. I'm going to call on you. This is a small room, so don't hide anywhere. I'm going to be calling on you guys too. So there's a lot of information. So everybody in this room, like I said at the beginning, you're going to get access to these 3 courses on my website. We're going to register when you're done. The slides that are on the screen are going to be in there for you to download. So don't worry about writing everything down on the slides, right? Because that's me. Oh, God, that's scary. In the course, that's just a screenshot. You're going to have everything to download in there. All right, so let's get started. I want to know from you guys right now, what are you doing to study other than coming here? Are you using any test prep guides? Are you on any online resources? What are you guys doing? Test prep. We're going to talk about how to use those. It's very important. Oh my Lord, hold that up again. She's got the sticky notes and everything. Okay. Wow, we got cellophane in there. What is going on in there? That's paper? Okay.
I've been using Khan Academy and IXL.
Those are 2 great websites. We're going to talk about those 2. Those are good for multiple subtests. What about you guys? Test prep guides? How about we're going to talk about how to use the guides later when we get to ELS. But anyone using any other online resources, anything like that?
Yes.
Chomp Chomp, I go over that too. That's a great website. And it's free. Everybody who likes free? Test prep guide. Anybody using YouTube or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm using YouTube.
Okay. So a quick thing about online resources, especially when it comes to YouTube. This is the little public service announcement. Everybody wants to search for resources. Always remember a couple things. Number one, free is not always good. All right. Some people learn that the hard way. Right. So things like Quizlet, while it's a good resource, I wouldn't go out there and just search for random stuff. Look for people who had one that's successful. You know why? Because I've opened up a bunch of those to check, and guess what? I've seen stuff that people put terms on there and the definitions aren't even correct. So you have to remember, people are making those. So unless someone shares one to you or has gotten good reviews from somebody, I would just stop. And if you find one and you want me to check it for you, you could send it to me. I'll take a quick look at it. You could email it to me. Right? Also with YouTube. When you go on YouTube, that's a great resource. I got some videos on there, some other people that have videos on there, great. But when you go on there, I tell people to do a couple of things. One, before you start jumping in and watching anything, go to the description. One, see when it was published, because if it was before 2015, odds are it's not aligned with the test. All right. Two, see who's doing it. What kind of credibility does a person have that's posting that? I've seen stuff on there. There's some people or companies, I forgot the names, I saw it like last year, that are out of like Massachusetts or out of Texas, and they put videos on there and they do FTCe sessions, but when I look at this stuff, it's not aligned to what's on the state website. So you need to be very careful. Double check that stuff before you jump in. There's some good stuff out there, but some of the stuff is just not aligned. Okay, so be careful with that stuff. All right, so first thing we're going to talk about is you have to understand that this test is a performance, right? So if I looked up the word performance in a dictionary, what do you think it would say in the definition? Huh?
Like acting.
Acting? Okay, that's good. What else? What do you guys think? What do you think it would say in the dictionary for the word performance?
The outcome of something?
Outcome of something? Can you think of anything? No? What about you guys?
To do.
What to do? Right? Are athletes performers? Right? Are musicians performers? Is a teacher a performer? Of course, right? It's acting and it's knowledge. It's all kind of a mix of everything. So first thing is you have to understand that this test is a performance. And I'm going to get giggles when I say this, but I'm positive. I'm 100% being truthful. It's you against the state of Florida. Think about it. Right? Why do you have to take this test? You have to take this test to fulfill a requirement for the state. That's it. It's a checkbox. If you work for a school district right now, which most of you do, your school district would love not to have you take this. Trust me, I know many of your HR people and your certification. Literally, I email with them, and I might even work with them. They don't want to have this as a requirement, but the state says you have to do this, so guess what? The blank rolls downhill. You ever heard that phrase? I can't say the very word at the beginning. So they make you do that. All right, so you have to understand that. That will bring a good understanding to you. Just follow me. There's nobody in the testing center helping you. Right? There's no one over your shoulder. I can't be there. Your friends can't be there. You just have to perform on this test. And a lot of this is going to make sense as we go through today. So like a performer, like an athlete, right? They have to have knowledge, skill, and attitude. They have to know about their sport. They have to good skills and strategies, and they have to practice. Teachers too, right? What do you teach?
Reading.
Reading. What grade level?
5th grade.
5th grade. So she teaches what's your name?
Jordan.
Jordan. So Jordan teaches 5th grade reading. What's a subject area, like a unit you would do with your kids?
Oh, geez. Put me on the spot now. Social issues.
Social issues. Okay, that's a good. They talk about. Yeah, I'd love to hear that conversation. Okay, so if you're teaching, is that something that's on the standards that you have to cover?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're starting on this Monday, a unit on social issues, do you think, Jordan, you have to know the standards that the state of Florida wants you to teach about? Should you see it for sure? Absolutely, right? You're not just going to roll in there and say, all right, guys, we're going to talk about social issues. What do you know about social issues? I don't know what we're going to teach about. I'm just going to throw some random stuff at you. It sounds silly, but I'm saying that for a point, right? You have to know about this test. People roll, and I guarantee you, a lot of you guys, most of you guys except for 2 of you, have taken this test once or twice or maybe more. And I'm sure that a large percentage of you guys don't know much about the test that you're spending all this money on. Right? For example, and we're going to go over all this stuff as we go through each subtest. But questions like, do you know how many correct answers you need for each subtest? Like English language skills, math, reading. Like for a fact, people say, no, I need a 200 score. I don't care about 200 points. What does that 200 points equate to? We're going to go over that. Right? Things like on the essay, do you know how they grade you? Right? Do you know the rubric, the things that they look for to take points off of your essay? Most people don't. Most people just roll in there and they just write and they think, I can write. Guess what? I have a thing online where I do tutoring and edit people's essays. And I've got a lot of people over the last 6 months that have double master's degrees. I had 2 people that had their PhDs that failed the essay. They can write, but guess what? They don't write according to the structure and the things that they're looking for. So we're going to go over that here. But a lot of people just go out and, why did I fail my essay 5 times? And they'll send it to me and I'll go, well, that's because you don't have a thesis statement, you don't have it structured the right way. Right? It's very simple, but you have to understand what they're looking for. So things like that. When it comes to reading, math, ELS, what are the competencies? What are the content areas? People just go out there and just study everything, and some people just don't study at all. Be honest, who went in there the first time they took the test and didn't really study that much? Right? And then look at that, about 7 or 8, don't be shy, right? Why'd you do that?
I thought I kind of knew it.
You kind of knew it? Why? Because it's general knowledge, right? It's Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader? Who's ever seen that show? Raise your hand. Right? I don't like that show anymore. Stopped watching it years ago because I got mad at the television, right? Why do those adults, I get it's a TV show, but why do those people not know the answers to the questions? Because they're older. You're right. You haven't seen that stuff in a long, long time. I don't care if you're a college student or changing careers. We're not going to go around and share our ages because then you'll get mad at me. But it's been a long time. So a lot of it is brushing the dust off, but a lot of it also is knowing how to study. Okay, that's the key. Because you have to understand something, and some of you guys know this, but some of this is going to be new to you. This test, other than the math subtest, is 4th, 5th, and 6th grade material. Math goes into middle school, 7th and 8th. Did you guys know that? Does that make you feel a little not as smart now? Right? I'm not trying to say that, but I'm saying that for a reason because there's so many people that go out there and think this is all high school stuff. On the flip side, some people think, oh, it's general knowledge. That's like kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade. No, it's predominantly middle school at the end of elementary school. Math is the only thing that goes up into 7th and 8th grade. And you guys are going to be here for if you guys are going to be here for the afternoon math session, he's going to go over everything on there. You guys are going to be, heads are going to be spinning, but you're going to love it. Okay? Second, so we have knowledge, skill, and attitude. I love Napoleon. Do you think Napoleon has skills?
Yeah.
She said yes. You guys said no. How dare you? He's got skills, right? Who could dance like that? Can you dance like that? No? All right. So, skill. Knowledge, skill, and attitude. Jordan, back to your math, teaching social issues. Do you just go in there? How are you going to teach social issues? You just talk about it? Do you do like an activity? Do you do like a cooperative learning thing? Do you... Discussion, small, she's all kinds of different strategies. So, Jordan, if you go in there and something doesn't work the first time, do you just give up on it? What do? You practice it, right? Same thing. On studying for this test, you have to have test-taking strategies. And if they don't work, you got to keep practicing at it. I'm going to teach you a couple here that are very simple. So one of them is going to be very different that you've never seen before. I've yet to have anybody that does what I'm going to show them here today. But it's going to take time and practice. So you need to have some skills to practice. And last but not least, if you are looking at questions in your guide or on the test like that, there's a problem. Does anyone ever look like that when they're studying and looking at a question? Right? Right? All the time, she says. So we have to practice. We have to self-assess and practice. That's how we gain attitude. I'm going to give you a lot of things you can do to practice here. I'm going to show you how and teach you. And throughout each subtest, other than the essay, I'm going to give you some free resource, free websites One of them is a small fee, but a lot of them are the free. So if you see something on the screen that we talk about, it's that I've referred it to teachers for the last 3 or 4 years and they've had success with it. So I don't just throw anything out at people. I check it out myself. So a lot of the stuff is free I'm going to share with you. There's one thing someone mentioned, IXL. We'll talk about that a little later. That's like $10 a month. But it's all about building that attitude and practicing the right way. That's the key. Most people practice the wrong way. So what's one thing you know about this test? It's what? It's stupid. You can't have that attitude. You can do it. Huh? 4 parts, good. Other than it's tough. She says it sucks.
Is it a requirement for a temporary certificate?
Huh?
It's a requirement for a temporary certificate?
It's a requirement, okay. It's time. What about like essay? What do you guys know about the essay? They give you 2 prompts. Good. Anything else? Only 50 minutes. What about ELS? What do you guys know about ELS? We're going to go through all this. I'm just getting the wheels turning. What do you guys know about ELS? Anyone know how many skills there are that they test? You guys taking it already. You should have seen it. 3, good. Anyone know how many questions they get? How many questions? 40. What about reading? What do you guys know about reading?
You have 2 different types of passages to compare.
So sometimes they have versions that have 2 passages you compare. Okay, what else? Boring? Yeah? Words in there you don't know? Okay, there's
Historical,
a lot of them historical, different types. Okay. What do we know about math? And don't scream at me.
All of it.
All of it. She doesn't know anything.
50 questions?
50 questions, close, 45. Huh? 4 math competencies. What type of math? Geometry, algebra, number sense, and probability and statistics. Good. Huh? Word problems. Everybody loves word. Data. Okay, very good. So you guys know some stuff here. All right. So first thing is I'm going to give you a homework assignment that I want you to do this weekend. I'm not checking it, obviously. So do it tomorrow, do it by Monday. So this is the state website. I'm sure you guys have been there because most of you already taken the test. Okay? So you want to go to the state website. You could write that down. Remember, this is going to be on the slides in your course. You just Google FTCe. It comes right up. So here's the home page. So on the home page, your homework is I want you to click the test button on the top where I put the yellow circle. It's going to bring you to this page. I know it's fuzzy. Don't worry about it. Okay, this is the list with all the different tests on it. Towards the top, here's your GK. You're going to click on any of the subtests. It brings you to all the same page. So click any of the subtests. And a couple of things I want to point out on this page. Number 1, the math reference sheet is on here for GK Math that you can download. Be honest. Raise your hand if you knew it was on there. Wow, that's more than usual. I get about 2 or 3, right? Raise your hand. For those people, just raise your hand. Did you actually use it when you study? Yeah. Now we just lost 4 people, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is on here. We're going to talk about it when we get towards the end, when we talk about math. Download it, print it out, keep it with you. That should be in your study guide and your notes or whatever you have. And you need to use it when you study. So you saw around of 6 people knew it was there, but then when I asked who used it, 3 people put their hands down. So they give you the tools, it's there. All right, next, very important. This is where people always ask me, how come I didn't get my results right away when I finished? Throughout the year, periodically, they have score delays to revisit the questions, compare how people are doing around the state, right? See how people are doing on certain skills. When you go to this website, this is not your homework, just to point out here. If you click that, it will pop up a box and it'll tell you what test has a delay for what month. I haven't checked recently. I don't know if anyone took the GK this month, but last month you would go in there and you would get your ELS in math right away, pass or not pass, but reading they would tell you 5 weeks. It wouldn't take 5 weeks, it'd take about 3 weeks, but the point is that they don't give you results right away. So when you plan on taking it, if you're taking it in the next couple of weeks or during the summer, make sure you go on here and check before you go in, see if there's a score delay. So if you're a teacher and you have to pass by the end of June, you need to make sure and double check on there if there's a delay or not, because you don't want to go take it 2 weeks before your deadline and not have your scores. That's not a good position to be in with your school leader. But here's your homework. On the bottom here, it says content resource materials. Has anyone ever downloaded that? 2 people. Okay, well, we're going to learn something new here. When people tell me this is rigged, the state wants me to fail, oh my God, they're stealing my money, they don't tell me what's on the test, all the information that's on the test is on the website. And most people don't know that. So here's your homework. You're going to click this resource materials. It's going to bring you to this page. On the top where I put the blue box, you see there's a PDF. It says Test Information Guide. This is your homework. You're going to click on that and you're going to download it. And you're going to spend about 15 to 20 minutes. All right, 15 to 20 minutes, and you're going to read through it. In your guide, there are multiple pages that look like this. This is just a screenshot of one of the pages on ELS. Essay, ELS, Reading and Math. They have a detailed list of all of the content area that's going to be tested. Most of it is specific. Obviously, when you go read it tonight or this weekend or whenever, you're going to say, well, some of the stuff is very open-ended. Some of it is, but a lot of it is specific. So, if it says, understand diction and tone, guess what's going to be on the test? Diction and tone. So when people tell me they don't know the concepts that are going to be on the test, there it is. They lay it out for you. I'm going to break it down and simplify it for you here today on the slides, and I'm going to talk about it. But it's there. So your homework is I want you to take this, print it out. You don't have to print all the pages because it's like 40 pages. Just print these pages, probably like 10 or 15. And go through with a highlighter and take your spiral notebook or whatever you do in your notes in. And I want you to go down and I want you to underline and write down the terms. Like verb tense, standard verb terms, right? Misused words. Write these down because that's going to be your checklist if you want to review concepts. So you know exactly, if it's on there, you are going to see it 100% of the time. You're not going to see anything on your test that's not listed there. Okay, a lot of people don't understand that, but that's, yes?
I'm sorry, where is this? I'm on the...
Research.
Yep, you just click right on the bottom. It says View Resource Materials. There you go. So that's your homework. So go through and do that. Give yourself 15 to 20 minutes. If you need something to help you fall asleep at night, this is definitely the thing to do it. So grab that and put it next to your bed and take a look at that, because obviously it's not exciting, but it's helpful because it tells you what's on the test.